My name is Kyle, and I live in a haunted house in Edmonton, Alberta. Well, at least my mum and my brother thought so at first, but I was a little skeptical that the house was haunted until something happened to me personally. I'm 19 now, but this story takes place when I was 17, and it was in the middle of August. First off, I'll list off the events that happened to my mum and my brother, predating the event that happened to me. My mum and my brother have both had cases of sleep paralysis in this house, which have never happened before we moved in. They both told me their experiences went like this. They felt like something was slowly pushing down or sitting on their chests while they were sleeping, and they would wake up with no one on top of them, and being unable to speak or move, which is quite scary when you think about it, being helpless like that. Another thing that happened to both my mum and my brother was that while they were sleeping or on their bed, something would suddenly out of the blue yank off the covers and scare the absolute shit out of them. My brother has had this happen to him multiple times, where my mother has only had it happen to her once. My brother also experienced the same thing as I did, but 2 weeks before, it happened to me, and he didn't tell me until this day I saw what he did. Now that you know the predating events, I'll tell my story. It was a weekend and my mum had left to take my brother to soccer whilst I was at home in my room playing video games with my buddy. After we had stopped playing, I turned Discord off after saying goodbye to my friend and turned my PC off and sat on my bed and opened up YouTube to watch some of my favourite YouTubers as they just uploaded videos. While I'm laying on my bed, I hear the dishes in the sink in the kitchen down the hall start rattling, and then I begin to hear the cabinet being opened and closed. Me being stupid and thinking it's just my mum back from soccer with my brother, when they had just left 30 minutes ago and soccer takes like usually 2 hours. I peek my head out the door and down the hall to see if it's them. To my shock, it wasn't them. Instead, I see a black mist-like shadow person standing at the end of the hall that leads into the kitchen. In complete awe of what I'm seeing, I just stare at this thing, unable to process what's in front of me. After what seemed like a minute or two, I dip back into my room and slam the door shut and sit against it. I remember my phone was on my bed, and I slid over to it and text my mum to ask her what I should do. She tells me to get the hell out of the house and go stay at a friend's until she gets back home with my brother. So I do that. I look outside my door and down the hallway to see if it's clear. Lucky for me, it was. Gathering my courage and grabbing my longboard, I book it down the hall and turn out the door of my house, grabbing my shoes on the way and stopping on the driveway to put them on. As soon as I had them on my feet, I put my board on the ground and started off almost wiping out in my hurry, and ride over to the friend's house who I was previously playing the games with before shit hit the fan. Once I get there, he lets me in and we sit down, and I tell him what I saw. To my surprise, he believes me, and tells me one time, when he was staying in the night at my house, he saw what I saw in the kitchen. While he was waking up one night on the couch, which is in the living room next to the kitchen, he saw a dark figure standing in the kitchen staring down the hall towards my family's rooms, including my own room. Apparently he thought it was a dream since he was still half asleep and groggy as hell, so he didn't say anything about it, and the next day he just went on with the fun we were having. Once my mum had gotten home and we felt okay since we had numbers, we decided to enter the house. As soon as we were inside, we could tell that someone or something had been there since all the dishes in the sink were stacked on the counter beside the sink, and all of the cabinets were hanging wide open, and the dishes inside had been stacked on the counter as well. We decided not to stay the night there, and stayed at our cousins who lived 15 minutes away in Sherwood Park. When we got home, everything was back to normal, except the lights in the house were on. Ever since that happened, I am a firm believer of ghosts and the supernatural.